New Orleans, of course, is a food town. Hot beignets, anyone? Still, Mo Rocca reminds us there's a lot more on the menu.
It's really my comfort food. Like curry, for me, like on a rainy day or like a cold day, it makes my soul very happy.
To eat in New Orleans is to taste the world.
So tender. More people need goat in their lives.
They do. I agree. I agree.
In 2015, Nina Compton, whom some will recognize from Bravo's Top Chef,
Bernard, you'll take 2 tuna, please.
opened Compare Le Pan with her husband, Larry Miller. The two had met years earlier in Miami.
I tasted her food before I met her. I heard this great laugh coming out of the kitchen. And when I figured out the same laugh was making that good food, I started pursuing her.
What does Compare Le Pan mean?
It means Brother Rabbit. It's a folktale I grew up with in St. Lucia.
Her father, Sir John Compton, led the Caribbean island of St. Lucia to independence in 1979, then served as its first prime minister.
How much of this restaurant is St. Lucia? How much is New Orleans?
I would say 50% New Orleans and 50% St. Lucia. So it becomes a very harmonious menu.
The restaurant's signature curried goat is something Compton ate growing up in St. Lucia.
It's the #1 selling dish. People come for it, they ask for it.
Did you grow up with goat?
No, not at all. The first time I had goat was with her.
We're in New Orleans, so let's talk about the other G word.
Gumbo.
It's not on the menu here.
It's not on the menu. People assume that I would have gumbo in the menu, and when I moved here, it is such a personal thing. I just wanted to respect the people that came before me and just let them have the gumbo.
The absence of gumbo hasn't seemed to hurt.
Crispy rice to 25.
In 2018, Nina Compton won the James Beard Foundation's award for Best Chef in the South.
Sure, thank you for the shrimp. It looks beautiful.
While Chef Compton has brought the Caribbean to New Orleans, Chef Serene Mbai is bringing West Africa to the Crescent City.
I always get to share a story about how this plate came about. Sometimes give a deep history about what's happening here.
Can I say one thing? I really love the colors.
Mbai opened Dakar Nola in 2022 after it started as a pop-up restaurant where he met his business partner, Effie Richardson.
It was the first time I actually saw a tasting menu of West African food, and I just loved the concept.
Mbai spent much of his youth in Senegal. Dakar is its capital, but he was born in Harlem, where he watched his mother cook for relatives and neighbors.
She was literally nurturing people's soul through food. I realized that I wanted something that reminisced how my mom made everyone feel.
But it was in Senegal where Mbai was inspired by the traditional one-pot cooking technique.
A lot of dishes are composed by maybe 6 or 7 different components that's made in a different pot. Versus Senegal, everything happened within one pot.
That spirit of unity is reflected in the restaurant's oval communal tables.
I love the table. Why is it this shape?
It's a connector. I feel like it's a perfect table to connect people together.
Allowing strangers to get to really know each other, especially when you eat with your hands.
There's enough room on the table for the food, but then there's also closeness that allows you to really engage with everyone at the table.
After biting into this cassava and trout roe starter, this correspondent understood why Dakar Nola won the Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in 2024.
It really has a kick also at the end, which I love. I'm a fan of yuca fries. It's like a very refined but delicious hash brown.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Yes.
While neither of these restaurants serves gumbo, both are bringing ingredients and traditions that have made New Orleans' food scene an even richer stew.
The food is not dainty or very frou-frou. It's really about satisfying your soul and making you happy.
Joey, I can't do this for you.
I am not asking you to do this for me. I'm asking you to do it for you and for my mom.
What?
God rest her soul.
You using Catholic guilt on me?
I learned it from the best.
Right on.
In the movie Nonnas, Vince Vaughn plays a grieving man who decides to honor his dearly departed Italian parents and grandmother by opening a restaurant. But not just any restaurant. Our 60 Minutes colleague, John Wertheim, fills us in on the true story behind the film.
Consider it a side order of symbolism. In the shadows of Ellis Island and Lady Liberty, workers from all points on the map arrived by boat. They came armed with traditions and recipes from their home countries. Calling this joint a mere restaurant doesn't do enough lifting. Wedged into an unassuming block of Staten Island is a 30-seat monument to the healing power of food.
What's on the menu today?
Lasagna.
Lasagna?
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Chicken cacciatore.
We'll stay.
The origin story starts with death. In 2007, Joe Scaravella, a native of Brooklyn, was working for New York City's transit system. He had recently lost his Italian parents and his 100-year-old grandma, his Nonna. He missed them. He missed cooking with them.
We used to make sopressata and olives and everything, so I knew there was a lot of magic out there. And I was really kind of broken from losing my grandparents and my parents. So I inherited a little money and I had this idea.
He'd never worked in, much less owned, a restaurant. He'd never even been to Staten Island. But he knew the unique restorative qualities of home cooking. In a moment of serendipity, he stumbled on the ideal spot and seized on an unusual concept, placing an ad in a local Italian newspaper.
Cercasi casalinga, which means basically you're looking for housewives to cook regional dishes.
The responses came fast. Most of them widows, most had never cooked outside the home. All were happy to audition.
On the day of the invitation, they came with their kids and they came with their husbands. And I had a house full of people following me around with plates of food that they wanted me to try. It was like a Fellini movie. It was an amazing time.
Opening night at Enoteca Maria, named for Joe's late mother, was like dinner around any family table in the homeland. Customers loved it. In the kitchen, cooking sometimes became sport.
Got all these Italian grandmas in the kitchen together. How'd they get on?
They did not get on well because they're all in competition. Who makes the best sauce and who makes the best lasagna? And they're all very proprietary about their recipes. If one lady was here, she was not allowed to make any dish that another lady made. And they had this code and they all stuck to that. It was a little frustrating.
It's like real Italian turf wars.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Lasagna.
Still, Enoteca Maria became the most unlikely of in-the-know New York restaurants.
Where are you from?
Spain.
Spain?
Yes.
Mamma mia.
In 2015, Joe expanded his menu. The roster of now 30 Nonnas, as they're known, expanded to include yayas, sobos, and abuelas. And the menu expanded from Italian food to food of the world.
We cook with love. The love it's inside the food.
Once a month, Egyptian grandmother of four, Helena Zaki, brings her secrets to the kitchen.
They come here and with their hand, they tell me, it's so delicious. It makes me so happy. It's called molokhia. It's a green soup. When you eat it, you take some of this on top of the rice and the chicken.
Greek yaya, Plumitsa Zimnis, was mourning the loss of her husband and lonely. Her daughter Maria was seeking to lift mom's spirits.
I knew that cooking was her passion, so I stumbled upon it. I saw an ad that said International Grandmothers Wanted.
I know International Grandmother.
Yeah.
Where did you learn how to make this?
My mom in Greece.
Family tradition.
Yeah.
When she came here, she was all dressed in black, visibly depressed. We talked about her coming in to cook and, what ingredients she would need and what she would make. She came to cook a few times after that, and every time she would come, you would see a little more color in her outfit until finally colored blouses and everything. So it's like the life came back into her.
Put the honey, a lot.
A lot of honey.
A lot of honey.
So it's sort of a
Good.
salty sweet.
Yeah, yeah, more. Okay.
More? Fantastic.
Hi, this is Joe, Nonnas of the world.
Joe is stubbornly and fittingly low-tech, working the phones to accept reservations. As for managing the rotating staff, he resembles a concert promoter scrambling to fill dates with star performers.
Enoteca Maria.
Despite its packed tables, the place, Joe says, hasn't made a dime.
I take a nice focaccia.
Mangia.
After 18 years, the unlikely restaurateur is still funding it out of his pocket. In part because, yes, he pays his kitchen staff well. In part because the menu prices are reasonable, cash only. Besides, currency comes in other forms.
Hi, this is Nona from Trinidad. Come on down here and get yourself some loving from the oven.
The grandmas have become social media sensations.
And where are you from?
Well, I'm from the Bronx.
The new movie, starring Vince Vaughn, comes out this week on Netflix.
Food is love. And as long as I have their food, then I'm gonna have them. I really, really want this place to feel like family.
Oh, thank you.
We have some kind of Michelin gourmand rating, and people will come in and they want to rate us on how good the food is or how good the service is. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. So I don't pay any attention to that stuff. But absolutely, everybody should get a good piece of lasagna and a good meal and a good glass of wine.
Thank you for coming.
All giving a whole new flavor to the concept of comfort food.
And it's all made with love.
As we continue to indulge in leftovers this holiday weekend, Tony DeCopel is talking turkey with top chefs Tom Colicchio.
I kind of want a smaller fennel, but I'll take this.
Well, I was going to ask you about it. I got a lot of questions about fennel, actually.
I'll take this one. Yeah.
That one? Okay.
Yeah.
When you find yourself at the farmer's market next to a guy with opinions this strong about fennel and scallions, you listen.
I mean, this is nice and fresh. So what's nice about it, you can see it's fresh because if you look at the cut end, the cut end isn't browned out yet.
And that's especially true if the guy is Tom Colicchio.
Honey water? You washed out the honey flavor. I was like, where's the honey? I'm looking for honey.
Who for more than 20 seasons now has been a judge on one of America's biggest food shows, Top Chef.
So the question is, why didn't you want to take the responsibility?
Well, also, by the way, working as one of America's most successful restaurateurs.
Probably 85% of the produce we buy, we're buying from the farmer's market.
Wow. Many of his celebrated dishes have started here at a local green market in New York City's Union Square. But lately, the meals he enjoys the most are even more local than these ingredients.
I cook very simply at home. It's not the food part of it. I enjoy the half an hour, 45 minutes that we're sitting together as a family.
Now 62, married and a father of 3, Colicchio is sharing the story of his many lives in the kitchen. In a new book, Why I Cook.
If you had to put it in a few words, why do you cook?
I mean, partly it was something that I found at a very young age that I was good at. It came very easy.
Thomas Patrick Colicchio grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, sharing a bedroom with 2 brothers and big, boisterous family meals in a working-class Italian neighborhood. While Mom ran the family kitchen, it was Dad, a gambler-turned-corrections officer, who helped turn Tom into a chef.
Having ADHD, I struggled with recipes. I get frustrated by recipes, but I loved cooking. And my dad wasn't the kind of dad who sat down and had these long conversations with you about your future. But he came home with these books. You know, I have no idea what La Technique was doing in a county jail library, but there it was.
Yes, Jacques Pépin's La Technique is what helped Colicchio understand the fundamentals of cooking.
Once I understood that, I could look at a recipe and go, oh, they want me to roast something here. I know how to roast something, so I don't need the recipe anymore. Or I can braise something. But now, when I braise it, well, I could change the flavor profile by adding different things into that braise.
The kitchen, however, was where Colicchio learned how to be himself. A place where, in the chaos of orders and ingredients, he found a calling.
Add the onion and the ginger and the fennel now. I'm going to wait and add the garlic towards the end. only because it does have a tendency to burn very quickly.
His career took off fast, from flipping burgers at a local snack bar to building whole menus at a North New Jersey hotspot, and ultimately to New York City, where, not yet 30, he earned his first 3-star review from the New York Times.
You're an entrepreneur. You've managed to develop yourself as a chef. Did you learn lessons from your father's experiences with business?
I don't think that my entrepreneurial spirit came from my father or came from my family at all. I think it came from the fact that I worked in kitchens and worked in restaurants that I didn't like, and I didn't want to have a boss.
But even as he soared professionally, becoming executive chef at New York's celebrated Gramercy Tavern, Colicchio's private life was cruising toward rock bottom.
I was doing drugs when I was cooking the whole time.
The whole time, wow.
And had a bad night and ended up in Harlem somewhere with another cook getting a bunch of drugs and, getting high all night, and woke up in my bed, my shirt was covered in blood. I don't remember getting home, and what kind of scared me is I was driving a motorcycle.
Wow.
So somehow I made it home, but that was it. I woke up and said, that's it, no more.
He quit the drugs, but his working class roots still led to some awkward moments in the Frenchified, fancy world of fine dining.
I knew I could hold my own, but I just still felt like I was a fish out of water here. Now I'm in New York. You get 3 stars, now all of a sudden you get pulled in a lot of different directions. And yes, was a certain amount of imposter syndrome? Absolutely. We know you're talented chefs. That's why you're asked to come back.
You tried to say no to Top Chef.
Yeah. You both kind of made small little mistakes, but on different sides of the spectrum. Lisa. I also, didn't really love food TV.
But then
I'd go to a food festival, like Aspen Food and Wine, come time to sign books, and I'm sitting next to Bobby Flay, and he's signing 300, and I'm signing 20. I didn't think it was because he had a better book. He was on TV.
He's on
so
TV.
Like, all right, let me do this TV thing.
Looking back now, in his new book, Colicchio traces the arc of a changing industry, where sexism and even abuse has been replaced by something a little kinder and a lot more welcoming.
There's still voices being raised.
Okay.
It's a little different than it used to be, but there's still, in the middle of service, there are times you got to be forceful. But you have to be sure it's not personal. What's really missing is a lot of the misogyny that I saw. Read in.
But for Tom Colicchio, after all these years, the one thing that hasn't changed is the one thing that also keeps him in the kitchen.
And looking back on it, food has the power to bring people around a table. And to this day, I love doing dinner parties, love having people over. That's, I think, another reason why I cook.
Throughout the morning, Luke Burbank is serving up some food for thought, the unlikely stories behind some of our more familiar foods. For starters, how about a sandwich?
Welcome to Sandwiches of History. Today,
Barry Enderwick is eating his way through history, one sandwich at a time.
From salads, sandwiches, and savories, published in 1905 in the UK, we're going to be making the New York sandwich.
Every day from his home in San Jose, California, Enderwick posts a cooking video from a recipe that time forgot.
Mince the oysters and add them to mayonnaise.
Rescuing recipes from the dustbin of history doesn't always lead to culinary success.
Yeah, that was a textural wasteland. No, thank you.
But it has yielded his own cookbook, a collection of some of the strangest and sometimes unexpectedly delicious historical recipes you've probably never heard of. And even a traveling stage show. That's right, Sandwiches of History Live.
Thank you very much.
And from the condiments to the sliced bread, this former Netflix executive
See you tomorrow.
has become something of a sandwich celebrity.
You can put just about anything in between 2 slices of bread, and it's portable. In general, sandwiches are pretty easy fare, and so they just have universal appeal, I think.
Though the sandwich gets its name famously from the 4th Earl of Sandwich, The earliest sandwich Enderwick has eaten dates from 200 BCE China.
Today we are going to be kicking it old school, and I mean really old school, with the roux jia mo from China. That is delicious.
While Elvis was, of course, famous for his peanut butter and banana concoction, Enderwick says it's actually another celebrity who should be more famous for his favorite sandwich.
Gene Kelly had a greatest man sandwich in the world, which was basically mashed potatoes on bread, and it was delicious. Today, from selected recipes of 1926, from the up-to-date sandwich book of 1909, we're going to be making
one recipe at a time.
Peanut and sardine sandwich, Parmesan and radish sandwich.
Enderwick tries to get a taste of who we were. The good,
oh my God,
the gross, and sometimes, well,
it's just, you know, mustard and butter.
What's hot this 4th of July weekend? Serena Altschul may have the answer.
Last October, over 3,000 people lined up at a baseball stadium outside Atlanta.
Green eggs.
But there was a different game on the field that day.
I'm definitely an egg.
We just telling somebody that.
Sisters India and Felicia Jordan of Black Girls Grilling were just one of 150 teams
Amazing.
representing at Eggtoberfest.
Oh yeah, ready to spend some time on this.
A friendly competition and celebration in honor of their favorite 50-year-old gastronomic gadget.
Yes, I'm an expert.
The big green egg.
I mean, it's a cooking machine. We literally go from smoking 200 pounds of smoked oxtail to a butter pound cake. Anything is in between that.
You know, what can I cook in a big green egg?
It'd be quicker to try to think of something you couldn't.
We think of it as a laboratory.
Artie Arani is the company's CEO.
You can grill, roast, bake, smoke, sear, and just about everything in between. So what does that mean? Well, obviously it means steaks, but it also means pies.
This is my love letter to food.
This ingenuity is centuries old.
Kamado refers to a style. In India, you'd call it a tandoori. In Asia, you'd call it a kamado. And it references a oval-shaped vessel with a lid. In the early days, the vessel was made out of clay, and today the egg is ceramic.
The charcoal-using barbecue gets part of its name from the shape, but the rest is a mystery that only its 90-year-old founder, Ed Fisher, can solve.
I said, well, they're big, and what do they look? They look like an egg, yes. And now I have to think of, well, green is an outrageous color. You know, who buys green things? So I said, call it the big green egg.
Turns out, millions of people are seeing green.
This is a bacon wrapped Oreo. Have you had one of those?
For Ed Fisher, though, there's something more.
The magic is when someone cooks on an egg, and he cooks for his family, whether it's the wife or the husband, they become a hero.
To the house.
So the big green egg makes you a superhero.
Makes you a superhero, yes.
Dig in.
Take a plate and go, please.
To Martha Teichner now with a look at a father and son duo who managed to transform the flavor of their relationship from bitter to sweet.
Lastly, we have
Honey.
honey. Are you calling me honey?
Oh, yes.
All right.
The peacemaking power of food.
All right, let's rock and roll. It's shrimp time.
Take one, Mark.
It was fully on view as Kevin Pang
Dun, 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 dun.
and his dad, Jeffrey, prepared to shoot an episode of their YouTube show. Hunger Pangs. Hunger Pangs.
Honey water shrimp is your mom's favorite. So that's why I come up with this recipe, is because I want to make your mom happy.
All these shrimp.
Working through their recipe for honey walnut shrimp at the studios of America's Test Kitchen in Boston, where the show was produced.
You want to toss it?
You'd never know that it's taken more than 30 years to get to this point.
If you were an immigrant kid, you're living in America, you do everything that you can to fit in, to try to be American, and part of that is rebelling against your childhood, against your culture.
And what happened to your relationship with your dad?
It deteriorated, and it's because I refused to speak Chinese at home.
Kevin Pang was 6 when the family emigrated from Hong Kong to Toronto, eventually moving to Seattle, where Jeffrey opened an export business.
My language is a big barrier for me. I don't know how to talk to my son because he very quickly entered into this Western world.
The slightest provocation, I think, would set things off. And look, you have 2 headstrong males, it just makes for a pretty fiery situation.
Over time, contact between them became a perfunctory weekly phone call.
Just say hi and bye, no fighting.
That is, until Kevin became a food writer for the Chicago Tribune.
I had a reason now to call my pops and say, hey, what is red braised pork belly? Now we'd have these half-hour conversations.
And then, in 2012, to Kevin Pang's amazement, his food-loving dad took to YouTube. 2.2 million views and counting, with Chinese cooking demonstrations, punctuated with nods to a shared history Kevin had ignored. Everything he could never say in person flooded out in a New York Times article in 2016.
To bare my soul in front of my family, it's just this inconceivable, just horrific idea. But to do so in a national newspaper, I have no problem with that.
Jeffrey Pang's response?
Hi, Kevin. This is a good and true story. Thank you. Call me sometime. Dad.
Now,
we make fried chicken with shrimp paste. It is fantastic.
Father and son reminisce their way through Asian markets.
Okay. Here we go.
And of course, they cook.
Give it a smell, Martha.
Kevin finally gets that with each ingredient, each dish, they're retelling their story, preserving it. So this is the book?
Yes.
For a year before they left Hong Kong in 1988.
And then some kind of dessert.
Catherine and Jeffrey Pang collected family recipes.
From his parents, my parents, and all the relatives.
Afraid they would lose their heritage.
I still can recall the moment they taught us how to cook a specific dish. It's our treasure.
Some of those recipes have found their way into the cookbook.
Ooh.
Jeffrey and Kevin Pang published together.
Yes.
This was the moment.
Yeah, what do you think?
They saw a finished copy.
So good.
Yeah?
For the first time last fall.
Today, my dreams come true.
Food is our common language. That's the language that we speak. That's what we can talk about. And who would have thought?
Organizing the artwork here at the Lyndhurst Mansion is a job for an expert. Helping you to organize your home is a job for Martha Stewart.
Hi, everybody. During the last year and a couple months, lots of us have been focused on our homes. This kitchen was in dire need of renovation. The cupboards were all kind of a happy, creamy yellow, and it just was not the kitchen I wanted. So out came the paint cans, out came the brushes, out came the carpenters. I wanted everything to be black, all the cupboards. So let me show you around this kitchen. I think you'll enjoy all the different things that we've done to bring it up to date, make it more useful and more beautiful. Hanging pots on a rack is such a handy way to keep your pots and pans because you just reach up, oh, I'm going to steam some eggs. I need a pot that size. So it really makes it easy to keep your pots and pans in sight, clean, by the way, clean, and looking great. We're always looking for garbage pails for the kitchen, and I have only one in this kitchen, and it is an old pickle crock. And the drawers, of course, are hopefully Martha neat. We are organizers. We are not throwawayers. Look at all this stuff. I still find beautiful pieces at tag sales. I have to have my ice cream scoops for uniform cookies. Don't you use this to make your chocolate chips so everyone is exactly the same? Redoing a kitchen like this completely helps you get organized. You find out that there are things like a cracked rubber scraper. You don't need a cracked rubber scraper breaking into your soup. You just want to throw that away. Not all kitchen utensils last forever. Another organizational tip for all of you is to make a knife drawer. And you start with small and get to larger, larger, larger. Don't forget your serrated knives for bread. These are so great. This cork liner is such a good idea. You want to see the best knife I have? Look at that one. And it was signed by me. This is for chopping something big. If you're limited space and you don't want to have a big refrigerator standing, taking up all that wall space, put in an under-counter refrigerator. These are so handy. Another nice thing to do to keep your pantries looking organized and keep your groceries a little bit fresher is to, I call it decanting, but it's really putting it from plastic bags, this is rice, into a nice container like this, which is 100% reusable, tight-fitting lid. So then this goes right into your pantry. And I really like having a pantry in which I can see where everything is. So I hope taking you around my newly renovated kitchen has given you some new organizational ideas, maybe some decorating ideas. A fresh coat of paint can be transformative, and you're gonna love it, and your family's gonna love it too. See you next time.
America's black chefs have been shaping our country's cuisine since its earliest days. Contributor Mark Whitaker has been talking to a chef of our own time who's telling their stories.
Wow, man, that looks
looks good, right?
Over the course of his storied career, Chef Marcus Samuelsson has heard that a lot. A TV veteran, a restaurant and cookbook impresario, he's always delighted by how our curiosity for new tastes draws us together.
We smile, your eyes get really watery and warm, and you lean in. But when we do that around race and there's no entry point, we look down and don't talk to me.
And finding an entry point to talk about race matters a lot to Samuelsson. An American by way of Ethiopia and Sweden, he's become increasingly troubled by our racial divisions.
So as a chef, what's my role? How can I contribute to this? And that's really where the rise started.
The Rise, Samuelsson's latest book, is his recipe for a national conversation by celebrating the contributions of black chefs and black cooking.
I want to share stories about amazing people about this amazing country around food. The most delicious way about having a conversation around race is to cook it and eat it together.
So, black food matters.
Yeah.
What is black food? How do you define it?
Delicious, complex, layered, it's worldly, it's local, it's southern, and it's finger-licking good. You may or may not fully understand it, but get into it.
For Samuelsson, getting into black food starts with understanding its history. So he introduces us to one of the field's preeminent writers, Jessica B. Harris. How would you describe the influence that the black cooking tradition has had on American cooking in general?
Well, I think it's difficult to even conceive of the vastness of the influence.
Harris says that influence begins with some of the staples of Southern cooking that actually arrived with enslaved Africans.
Watermelon, black-eyed peas. You get strange things that arrive here via the African continent. Peanuts. And of course, the big daddy of them all, the mucilaginous pod, okra. We slipped and slid into everybody's life.
Add to that the critical know-how for a food as essential to the South as rice.
The rice growing knowledge came from West Africa, from which the people were enslaved. And you can find posters that say, slaves newly arrived from, and that was sort of like a euphemism for these folks know how to grow rice.
Tell us about the black chefs who fed the founding fathers.
Well, there are two of them that we talk about a lot. Hercules Posey was George Washington's enslaved chef. He was reputed to be a dandy.
The first celebrity chef.
Absolutely. And probably the most famous of the early runaways. He left. Never caught. It infuriated Washington.
When Thomas Jefferson represented the U.S. at the French court of Louis XVI, he sent for his enslaved chef, James Hemings.
Hemings is in their kitchens learning French cuisine, and then eventually petitions for his freedom, which Jefferson grants grudgingly.
Enslaved or free, cooking ham for others, pig's feet for themselves, Samuelson says the vast majority of black cooks worked for little reward or credit.
Black chefs was kind of like this anonymous backbone that never got acknowledged in food history.
They serve as the inspiration for one of the many chefs Samuelson profiles, Eduardo Jordan.
The talent and the skill of the African American cook is so built in our DNA that I now get the privilege to tell that story through my food.
A Florida native, raised on Southern food, Jordan says he pays tribute to his ancestors at his Seattle restaurant, June Baby.
Oxtails slowly braised, just like my mama used to do. This was Louisiana-style gumbo, and this is a take on candy yams. This is true Southern food at its best, just like next level.
Jordan is a classically trained chef, and when he opened his first restaurant, the award-winning Solari, featuring European cuisine, he had an agenda.
What I wanted to do is flex my muscles. I didn't want to be pigeonholed to be the black chef opening up a black restaurant.
But when he added African and Caribbean influences to the menu,
it made me feel happy because I wasn't trying so hard to try to cook someone else's food when I could actually just do me and be me. There is more to Southern food than what meets the eyes. There's a deeper story.
It's an insight central to the larger purpose of Marcus Samuelson's book. Let the food do the talking.
When we're able to sit down and break bread, share our food, tell our stories, we gain a better appreciation for each other.
And when we cook together, we start realizing how incredible, delicious America is.
And what we have in common.
Yes.
I'm Seth Doan in Italy, sampling tortellini in brodo, that's broth in Italian. It's traditionally a comfort food for the holidays, but in 2020, it's welcome in any season.
If I have to take one dish to a desert island for the rest of my life, this would be it.
That's saying something for Rolando Beramendi, a chef and cookbook author.
Did you put tortellini in brodo in your book?
No, I didn't, because it's so complicated that I think it would be very difficult to translate. It's incredible.
Even he leaves it to the experts. That means for a good 30 years, he's come to Trattoria Camillo, a 4-generation family restaurant in Florence, where they make it look simple.
As Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate art of sophistication.
First, owner Chiara Mazziero gets the pasta or sfoglia as thin as possible. Then there's the filling and the flourish.
And we make the triangle, close at the point. This one comes down. Tortellino, perfetto.
She's made a few tortellini in her time. Just how many?
Qualche milione. Some millions. And then you've got the filling here.
Her recipe for the filling, ground pork and turkey, mortadella, prosciutto, and Parmesan cheese, was her father's. He was from Bologna, which lays claim to this pasta. And where it fills stomachs, storefronts, and has taken on almost mythical status. One of the tall tales of tortellini is that an innkeeper spied on Venus, the goddess of love, through a keyhole, and then created a pasta in the shape of her navel. Today, the pasta itself is lust-worthy, and aficionados say there's only one way to truly appreciate it.
You worked so hard to develop this sfoglia with the eggs and that filling. The only way is you exalt all those flavors by putting it in brodo.
At Bologna's Paolo Atti and Sons, the skilled hands of Etta Grandi can turn out 350 tortellini an hour.
Quindi si deve sentire solo il ripieno.
You don't want to taste the pasta, you want to taste the filling.
Esatto.
The Bolognesi are religious about their tortellini. Owner Francesco Bonaga told us they had some of theirs hand-delivered to Pope Francis.
Il vescovo spiega al Papa.
Here he said you can see the bishop explaining to Pope Francis that tortellini must be cooked in broth.
Anche il Papa ha ascoltato.
The
Pope listened.
Attentamente.
Yes, he added, with great attention.
The tortellini is going to absorb all the beautiful succulence of that broth.
Rolando Beramendi explained the broth, vegetables, and hearty cuts of beef, all strained before serving, is essential to the balance of this specialty.
What's more important in this equation, the tortellini or the broth?
That's a tough question. It's almost like to be or not to be, right?
This comforting dish is so simple yet complex that some believe the central ingredient deserves to be celebrated as a hero.
TV host and restaurateur Guy Fieri is well known for showing us what's cooking at out-of-the-way places around the country, which means he has lots to share with our Morocca.
It is so legit.
Everything about Guy Fieri, it seems, is big.
Get in there, cousin.
From the way he talks.
Killer. I give you some props, man. This is the bomb. This is dynamite.
To his love of tattoos.
This was the last one. I got my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
To his success on television.
I'm Guy Fieri, and we're rolling out. Looking for America's greatest diners, drive-ins, and dives.
As host of Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives since 2006, he's taken his cherry red Camaro.
This is Triple D Nation.
To joints across America.
How many places have you hit so far? Roughly.
Give or take 1,300.
In Santa Fe a few years back, he ran into acting legend Gene Hackman.
What makes the Roadhouse one of your go-to spots?
You know, I can come any way I want to.
I mean, compared to...
Well, you look pretty good. Except your hair.
What do you think about that?
What happened to your hair?
But it's the eateries themselves that get top billing.
Why do these places matter?
A lot of these mom and pop joints are the fabric of the community. You know, these are places that kids got jobs. These are places where you got engaged. These are places where you had your great memories. These are places that you went and got a gift certificate as a donation to your kid's soccer team.
The Triple D effect, as it's known on these establishments, is real.
This tasty little joint, Alcinia's.
In 2008, Fieri dropped in at Alcinia's in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow.
Betty Joyce Chester Tamayo is the owner.
That show probably has been the biggest impact on Alcinia's. You know, Alcinia's been really, really blessed.
We're rolling out!
Now, it's tempting to make all sorts of assumptions about Fieri.
What do people think you eat?
Fried cheeseburger, hot dog, corn dog, pretzels covered in cheese.
And that's not what you eat?
No, not at all. Veggies are my game. Love salad. Love spaghetti squash. Love all the whole grains. Big Faro fan.
This isn't so surprising when you consider his upbringing. Born Guy Fieri, he changed his last name to Fieri to honor his immigrant grandfather. He was raised in the small Northern California town of Ferndale by parents he describes as hippies.
We drove a van and they had a hide of leather and they made candles. They owned a leather shop. How much more hippie can you get than that?
As a teenager, he operated his own pretzel cart. When he was 26, his parents mortgaged their home to help him open his first restaurant.
Hi, I'm Guy Fieri and welcome to...
In 2005, he was encouraged by friends to audition for a reality show.
I am told that your audition for next Food Network star just wowed people because you were so easy and natural on camera.
See, anybody can read a cookbook. Anybody can come up with a simple idea. But the idea is bringing it to the table.
I'll tell you what a lot of it is. You talk to people the way you want to be talked to.
He says he didn't expect to win.
In challenge after challenge, it was Guy and Reggie who led the pack.
And, you know, I'd never been to New York, and I'm standing with all these chefs.
For the next Food Network star,
here we go.
Guy.
He did win, and it's been quite the ride ever since. He's been parodied on Saturday Night Live.
Nope, I got it backwards on purpose, much like my sunglasses. Protect your neck.
Hey, how's it going?
Actress Melissa McCarthy said she based her Oscar-nominated performance in Bridesmaids on Fieri.
You know, I just got some pins in my legs. Believe it or not, pins in my legs can still do this.
But there's also been less flattering attention, including a scathing 2012 New York Times review of his now closed Times Square restaurant. Negative press about Fieri inspired this defense from stand-up comedian Shane Torres.
He goes around the country to small businesses and gives them free advertising on a national platform on a weekly basis. But because his hair looks like he was electrocuted while drinking Mountain Dew, people act like we need to saw his head off and put it on the internet.
But over the years, the knocks have been drowned out by praise for Fieri's make that huge philanthropic work. He's raised money for intellectually disabled children. He's received the Make-A-Wish Foundation's highest honor.
Picking up.
And during the California wildfires of recent years,
We're so happy to do it, and we're so sorry for our friends that have lost their homes.
he served thousands of meals out of the same mobile kitchens
I need 2 veggie.
he's using to feed hospital workers now.
Thank you so much.
But wait, there's more.
How much money have you helped raise for out-of-work restaurant workers?
I think we're just on the cusp of 24 million.
Fieri co-created the Restaurant Employee Relief Fund to aid those left jobless by the pandemic.
So I started sending out personal video messages to all the CEOs that had any connection to the Restaurant Association. Pepsi, Coke, Cargill, Keurig, Dr. Pepper, you name it. The reason I'm sending you this video is the restaurant business has been hit hard, as you know. I'm standing right here and I'm doing it. My wife and my kids are sitting here having dinner and they're like, you're really losing it. 100% of the donations going directly to the employee. And so anyhow, the next morning we have a conference call and they said, Pepsi just sent us $1 million. I'm not kidding. I had to pull over the side of the road.
So far, 40,000 restaurant employees have been given $500 grants.
He has a huge personality and a big heart. And the last time I saw him, actually, he gave me a very warm hug.
Eric Repair is the co-owner and chef of the world-renowned Le Bernardin in New York City.
He has this incredible persona that's magnetic.
If you're surprised to hear the triple Michelin star-winning chef singing the praises of the star of Triple D, don't be.
If I may make an analogy, you have musicians who play jazz, classic music, pop music, hip-hop, you name it. Fine dining probably is closer to classic music, and what Guy is doing is probably closer to pop music in a sense.
At 52, this married father of 2 is respected as never before. But not to fear, he's still one boisterous guy.
Have you surprised yourself at how successful this has been?
I want to be very mature and tell you, no, I've always had this in mind that it would be like this.
Rockstar all the way.
And then I'll tell you, like the little kid,
Dynamite.
I'm out of my mind.
This is Steuben's Food Service. The food is fantastic. Regional favorites.
You might call him the chef's chef. For years, Americans have been watching Jacques Pépin on TV, but I got to see him in person. Is this fresh enough?
Yes.
Jacques Pépin ought to know.
Good.
He's been at it for 70 years.
30, 40 years ago, to get olive, was a whole deal. Look at that now.
You know,
I mean, there is 15 different types of olive.
when I grew up, I thought olives just came in jars with red pits in them. What a revelation.
Okay, I'm no cook, but the man walking me through his local Stop and Shop sure is.
I'm going to show you two types of omelette.
With 4 decades on television and 24 cookbooks,
Welcome to Everyday Cooking.
Chef Pépin has been influencing American tastes and techniques for generations.
If you have a passion, is it food or is it teaching?
I think teaching about food, yes. I like to explain, break it down.
His own culinary education began in France, near Lyon, when he became a chef's apprentice at 13.
From 8 in the morning, usually 10 at night, with a break in the afternoon of 2-3 hours. We slept upstairs. We were not paid.
You weren't paid?
No, there was no pay.
Why didn't that teach you that I do not want to be a chef? It's very hard work.
I was very happy.
And ambitious.
When I moved to Paris, I was 17 years old at the time. I told my mother I had a job. I didn't. I took the train, went to Paris, and started working.
And there he learned it wasn't creativity, but conformity that mattered.
At the Plaza Athénée in Paris, the lobster soufflé was very famous, where we were 48 chefs. I think any one of us could have done that lobster soufflé. No one would have known who had done it.
If you're one of 48 chefs at one of the finest restaurants in Paris, how was it discovered that of all those chefs who make the soufflé, this one's special?
I suppose the executive chef that we call Monsieur, maybe he saw something.
At 20, he was drafted. The French Navy put him to work, cooking, of course. And before long, he was personal chef to President Charles de Gaulle. If it sounds glamorous, he says it wasn't.
If anyone came to the kitchen, it was something was wrong. They were going to be yelled at.
And then he came to see America, a visit that has lasted some 60 years. He landed a job at Le Pavillon, then the best French restaurant in New York City, a favorite of Jackie Kennedy, who was about to need a chef for the White House. Jacques Pépin turned her down.
Wouldn't most people be kind of intrigued by the White House invitation?
Since I had experienced something similar in France with the president, there was nothing very glorious about it.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
But there was another Pavillon regular by the name of Howard Johnson.
The orange roof of Howard Johnson's.
Yes, the owner of what was then one of the largest restaurant chains in America. Pépin became its director of research for a decade, and he loved it.
Howard Johnson was something entirely new. Mass production, marketing, chemistry of food, which I didn't know anything about. I learned about the American eating habit, American taste.
Did Americans have taste?
Oh, yes. I mean, we had beautiful beef prime.
It wasn't taste that America lacked, he says, but technique. And he had an idea. A lavishly illustrated cookbook and how-to guide.
I mean, I used to give classes a bit all over the country, and I would never have put in a book how to peel a carrot, except that I would peel a carrot in a class where I say, oh, that's how you peel a carrot? I said, yes. I said, maybe I'll put that in the book too.
The book, called La Technique, was a sensation, and Jacques Pépin took to the road, giving demonstrations.
Cook with organic produce, the way my mama always done it.
He was a pioneer in the demo kitchen.
Coming up on Today's Gourmet.
With more than a dozen TV series.
You want to bang the dough a little bit like
That's a wonderful way of doing it.
Most notable, perhaps, was his partnership with his old friend, Julia Child.
I learned that in Paris.
Julia Child is the most unlikely television personality, but boy, was she successful, and the two of you had such chemistry. Was that instantaneous?
We had a great time together. She was a formidable eater.
That's good.
Their eating, cooking, and even gentle disagreements.
I've washed this chicken with hot water.
I don't wash my chicken.
Earned them an Emmy.
I have been spending every Sunday with you for the last 20 years.
Oh, boy.
At 83,
So you have a head of garlic here.
Jacques Pépin still loves giving cooking demonstrations.
Eat it on the side. That will separate your clove of garlic.
As he did earlier this month at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History.
You go down, forward. That really is the essential oil.
His emphasis on the basics as the foundation of good, great or masterful cooking,
Basically, you need 3 knives.
inspired me to ask, is it ever too late to learn?
You have to hold your hand this way, never this way.
First,
So here, my hand is glued to the knife here.
how to properly use a knife.
Then I start moving very, very slowly. And then I move faster, then faster.
Now my turn.
If you go back, then I follow you. Wherever you go, I'm going to follow you. We have any Band-Aid here? I'm just kidding.
I graduated to zucchini.
That's it.
Not moving the vegetable
That's
at
it.
all.
You want a job?
For Jacques Pépin, cooking is more than a job.
It is an act of love in many ways, you know, to cook for someone.
Is it an act of love if the only thing that you can reliably do in the kitchen to help is clean up?
Yes.
Just ahead, a pit stop along an interstate in Wyoming. And as Jim Axelrod shows us, when the truck stops here, an unlikely dining adventure begins.
Hello. What do you suggest?
Behind this hole in the wall, at this hole in the wall in Laramie, Wyoming, is a you-won't-believe-it situation from the world of truck stop cuisine.
If you'd bet me, I would have bet $100 there'd be no decent food of any kind in here.
Yeah, well, she would have lost that bet. Just off exit 290 on I-80, the Indian food Mintu Pander and his staff are cooking up in this small kitchen behind the window guarantees that.
This smells like we're in Mumbai, not in Laramie.
Not in Laramie, no doubt.
Just a few feet away from the motor oil, the military hats, the trucker shirts.
You can smell
that's a very familiar smell for Indian food.
That's it.
That's what
Our
that
storage
is.
shelves full of turmeric, coriander, and other spices maybe you haven't heard of.
This is a leaf. It's called kasuri methi. I mean, if you start putting this on, you will not eat anything without it.
There's a rice steamer with no off switch, an always full pot of chai, and the soul of any Indian kitchen, a clay oven, the tandoor.
The tandoor, the flavor goes in the meat, not out of the meat. Like if you put on a grill, everything kind of drips down. This way the heat is all around. It's surrounded by the heat.
When Pander bought this truck stop in 2014, it came with a griddle for hot dogs and hamburgers.
That's all you need? That's all I need. All right, thank you.
But figuring truckers could get those up and down I-80, he went with a menu they wouldn't find anywhere else.
Did they ever come in and say, all you got's Indian food, and I want meatloaf, I want a hamburger, I want a strip steak?
So then we tell them, hey, try this. You're going to have that on the next stop anyway.
Just mild spicy, not so really spicy.
99 out of 100, they would call again, hey, I want something what I ate last time. That stuff was delicious. I want that meal. I don't know what it was named, but this guy, he gave it to me. I think it's number 29.
You have all this today or what?
Good.
Yeah?
From cross-country truckers,
I don't know how to rate it, you know.
1 to 10.
I mean, I'd say it's probably, you know, good 9. I mean.
How's it going?
To locals like Sheriff's Deputy Bill Yates.
If this is the area I'm patrolling, I know where I'm going to stop to eat lunch.
Mintu's food has been a hit. Deputy Yates is partial to both the yellow curry and the broader field of vision that comes with it.
It's bringing the world here, rather than keeping our world small.
Strictly speaking, the restaurant accounts for a small part of Mintu's revenue. But that's not how Mintu speaks or thinks.
I would say 5 to 10% at the most, 10%.
So why bother?
This is not a whole picture of the food. The people come in, get fuel, other stuff. So they would come in and spend $500–600 in fuel because they know they can get their meal they desire from last 800 miles here.
He's opened another spot in Nebraska and will soon add a third in New Mexico. Turns out there's some money in all these smells and tastes, especially with the changing face of trucking, since nearly 19% of long-haul truck drivers in America are now immigrants.
No surprise for you that you can recreate all that stuff in the middle of a truck stop on I-80?
Well, that was the plan, so we succeeded.
All it took was for Mintu Pander to trust his gut and those of hungry truckers driving by.
Serena Altschul has the story of a kitchen classic. My mother had this one. Whatever the addition, it's been just the recipe for 90 years and counting.
So is this your favorite day of the week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
is.
really is.
It's kind of our happy place.
On a recent Saturday in Portland, Oregon, the farmers market was a cornucopia of colors and tantalizing aromas wafted through the brisk fall air.
What will you do with these?
We'll just break these up into pieces and then roast them.
John Becker and his wife Megan Scott are here to choose freshly foraged mushrooms.
So this hedgehog is kind of related to chanterelles.
For their roasted mushroom lasagna.
I want to say 30 minutes.
And it's on $4.25.
It's one of 600 new recipes in the latest edition of that kitchen classic, The Joy of Cooking, published by Scribner's, a part of CBS.
We know that more and more people are trying to eat less meat, even if they're not going vegan or vegetarian.
Are we just diving in?
They've been busy trying out new recipes and testing old ones for 9 years.
Delicious.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So you were just like, let's pretend it doesn't have thousands and thousands of recipes.
Yeah, one recipe at a time.
We ended up testing probably 1,500 recipes from the previous edition. And as we tested them, we call them recipe genealogies.
For John Becker, recipe genealogies are also family genealogies. His great-grandmother, Irma Rombauer, wrote and published the first Joy of Cooking in 1931, after her husband, who had lost everything in the stock market crash, committed suicide.
So she didn't have anything to fall back on, and she had to be creative.
Not all of Irma's family and friends thought writing a cookbook was a good idea.
Irma was always wanting to get back to the party. You know, that was kind of...
She was much more of a socialite than a cook. And so I think when she wrote The Joy of Cooking, a lot of people were surprised because she was not known for her cooking. But she knew the importance of being able to get food out of the kitchen and on the table so you could get back to your life.
And something about the way she spoke to her readers caught on.
She was not there to be like the home ec authority. She was there to be that friend who is helping you through this.
That really resonated with her readers.
20 million copies later, it still does. Stephanie Kurzenhauser bought her copy of Joy in college.
It was a book that I not only got out when I was ready to cook something, it was a book that I actually sat in a chair with a cup of tea with and just read.
Yeah.
For the pure enjoyment of it.
And updating Joy is a family tradition, passed down through the generations, as the cookbooks are. Irma's daughter, Marion Rombauer Becker, worked alongside her mother, and then on her own.
Marion was definitely more of a researcher, a little more thoughtful.
It's kind of an archaeological getting to know that.
Yes.
Marion's son Ethan took over after that.
Some like lemon zest?
Now it's his son John's turn.
I had never heard anyone in the family say specifically, like, we hope that you take this book on. You have a mouthful of lasagna, you're probably not going to be complaining.
At first, he wasn't sure he wanted to follow in the family footsteps.
Actually, was reading a passage from the 1963 dedication that Marion wrote that kind of changed my mind. I hope that my sons and their wives continue this book beholden to no one but themselves and you, the readers. Everything became very clear to me at that point.
She spoke to you.
I mean, you know, obviously not, but yes.
He also met Megan.
I was working at a bakery and I was talking to a coworker of mine about Joy of Cooking because I loved the book. And he said, well, didn't you know that the guy whose family wrote that book works at the coffee shop down the street? And I was just like, that can't be true.
But it was. And they both love cheese.
Yeah, didn't you say that I can get along with this?
I can date this person. He likes blue cheese. We're good.
They've been cooking and writing together ever since, inspired by his great-grandmother's fearlessness.
I still don't really understand how she was able to work up the gumption to do it.
And also her joy.
It's the joy of cooking. It's not like the preciseness of cooking, or like the, you know, let's stress out about this of cooking. It's smelling pretty good.
Yeah.
This innocent-looking pie is a pawn in a pie fight that's pitting North against South, and that's piqued the interest of Nancy Giles.
Key West, known for picturesque sunsets, roaming roosters, and, of course, key lime pie. The signs are everywhere. But wait, is key lime pie really from Key West?
Key lime pie.
Yeah.
So, where does key lime pie originate?
Well, that's an extremely good question.
Pastry chef Stella Parks's book, Brave Tart, offers this slice of pie history. The earliest recipe she could find, which dates back to the year 1931, wasn't from Florida at all.
It comes from a recipe published by Borden Dairy.
Located in New York City.
And it was for a magic lemon pie. And by all accounts, it's a key lime pie. It's a graham cracker crust. It's a no-cook custard that involves a can of condensed milk, some lemon juice, and some egg yolks, poured into this crust and topped with a little bit of whipped cream. That's a key lime pie.
Needless to say, in Key West,
No way. Why?
all this has caused pie pandemonium.
What did I know about key limes?
There were just so many things that were wrong, and that I knew were wrong.
And no small amount of pushback. Cookbook author and co-founder of the Key Lime Festival, David Sloan, put out a call to action.
You felt this real need to defend the pie's origins.
Without doubt. You know, it's a big part of our culture. You know, let New York have the pizza, give us the key lime pie.
Sloan says long before that New York recipe, Key West fishermen made the very first key lime pies on their boats. But things really took off, says Sloan, when a woman, cryptically named Aunt Sally, at Key West's Curry Mansion, brought the fisherman's recipe ashore.
I think that's when they introduced the meringue, because that makes it a little fancier and more high society.
Right.
And that's when they started doing the different crusts.
But Stella Parks hasn't seen the proof she needs, yet.
I think it's important to say that there could be in some box, some grandma has stored away her copy of this recipe from way earlier and it hasn't been discovered yet. So this is all under the caveat of this is all I have been able to find.
And just for the record, you're not a New Yorker. You're not trying to claim key lime
I'm
pie.
not a New Yorker, I'm a Southern girl. So.
Okay.
Things were getting a little tart. So I knew what I had to do. Try both pies.
Kind of start out by just lightly scattering the crumbs.
Stella Parks made her recipe.
All that butter's going in there.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I like the butter.
David Sloan enlisted Sheila Sands Devendorf, a fifth-generation local who followed a recipe passed down from her mother.
That is so good.
And the winner is? I can't choose. It's a pie tie.
Let me ask you, for the sake of peace, for the sake of key lime harmony, would you share a slice of key lime pie with David Sloan?
Oh yeah, instantly, no problem, very easy. I'm here for pie.
Yeah.
It's pie. It should make people happy. Exactly. And that's the way I really feel about it. I mean, you know, it's pie.
When you talk about eating healthy, few people have a better recipe for living than the man Martha Teichner has been foraging with. After which we'll sample a drink that's the toast of San Francisco with our John Blackstone.
There's actually some berries back here.
Really?
It's like some blackberry.
Ooh, I love blackberries. For me, it was fun. Look at that.
Something.
Yay, blackberries.
And all this beautiful sage.
But for Chef Sean Sherman, a member of the Ogallala Lakota tribe.
We're going to harvest just a little bit of this stuff, but we're going to leave a little bit of tobacco down first. It's just kind of a prayer and offering.
Foraging in the Minnesota countryside.
So this is milkweed.
Is like a spiritual return. That's a
And-
huge sunflower.
Yep, you can actually cook that too.
To a time when Native Americans lived on the plants and animals that grew wild.
You can steam it, you can boil it.
Across a country that was theirs.
This is amazing. It's like a field of magic.
Yeah, there's a lot here. We're gonna make a little bit of a kind of a wild soup.
Sherman is on a mission to celebrate and showcase native cuisine and give the past a future.
You can throw a dart at a map of North America, and wherever it lands, there's going to be culture, history, food, people, and flavor to play with right there, and so many stories to tell. You can write a book.
He's done just that. The Sioux Chef's Indigenous Kitchen won this year's James Beard Award for Best American Cookbook. Sherman spent a couple of decades cooking in fancy kitchens around Minneapolis before deciding to apply what he knew to native foods. The Sioux Chef is the name of the catering company he started in 2014.
It's fun to put artistry on the plates and make food look pretty, but it's really about having these food pieces tell their story, because we think about our grandparents and our great-grandparents and the foods that they ate. And for a lot of Native American peoples who were removed from their foodways, they started to lose a lot of those stories.
When European settlers seized their lands, when their bison were killed, and poverty corrupted their diet.
So if you look at the epidemics that we have in health crisis on native reservations, you see immense amount of type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart disease, all these things based off of a bad diet. So it just really shot me on a path to try to figure out what were my Lakota ancestral foods.
Which is why Sherman is taking his recipes for healthy traditional food to reservations, including the Prairie Island Indian community southeast of Minneapolis, along the Mississippi River, home to members of the Dakota Nation.
You just get what you can reach. Just throw them in a bowl.
This may not look like a political statement. Enlisting kids from the tribe to help him gather and cook foods their ancestors ate.
It's fine, because we'll save these seeds because we can grow them next year in the garden, okay?
But it is. He says he's decolonizing their diet. Not on the menu, beef, chicken, refined sugar, dairy products, wheat flour, foods brought by European settlers.
So tonight we have cedar braised bison with wild aronia berries that we harvested. Enjoy.
Sean Sherman's goal? Not just to produce a healthy meal.
I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you.
But to feed the soul of a nation.
What do you guys think of the dinner? Having this chance to impact communities, all of my being poured into it. You know, I really feel it, and I am gaining a voice that we're able to share to help others have a voice.
Does that feel pretty good?
It feels great.